Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today, well, first of all, voiceover bun coming in hot here as we are going to be working on collaging my cover. Now this is my hobonichi from 2021, the second half of the year. I unfortunately never got around to collaging the cover before I started working in it, which I do not recommend. I recommend if you go back and look at my other planner journal collage cover video. I was working on it before I did the cover before I started actually working on the inside, which is the way that you should do it. It's a lot easier to deal with. You're not fighting the chunk of your pages, which is kind of what happened here. But I loved the look of my first hobonichi cover being collaged. So I wanted to keep that going because when you see them like out of their leather covers or their fancy covers or whatever it is, and they're just on your shelf like collaged, there's something very, very satisfying about it. I also just really enjoy this kind of collage where it's just a little mindless and I'm just sticking down stuff that brings me joy, that makes me happy. It's not like this deep emotional collaging that I'm doing with, let's say, my art journaling. So it's kind of fun, cool way to decorate things. And I also think it's an interesting like snapshot of current time, like things that you were interested in, things that, again, kind of visually made you happy. So I am retroactively collaging this second cover here, but I thought that I would at least film it and share it with you. And I'm giving it to you real time here. So I'm going to do my best not to have any time lapse, showing you real time, me just kind of collaging and picking things out. And I'll touch a little bit on kind of what I'm doing here, but I also thought that this would be a cool time to talk about the upcoming year, right? Some of my creative goals, things that I'm currently working on, all of that good stuff. So first of all, like I said, I'm collaging my cover. You can see that little pink pouch that I have up there in the top left corner, kind of peeking through in the frame. That is a little pouch that I have that I save things that will make good cover material. I have really developed this system for myself of saving ephemera, but within reason. I'm very limited to that small little pouch. I have that pouch that is for like cover collage materials. And then I have a secondary pouch where I put kind of current trash basically for the interior pages when I'm doing kind of more personal spreads and personal journaling. It's just been a really great system for me as far as like it's a place for me to put things, but it also limits how much I can actually collect because the pouches themselves are so small. So it's just been a really good system. So you kind of saw me taking stuff out of that pouch. This is stuff that I was saving specifically for the cover, things that I thought was cool that didn't pertain to something that I would have been necessarily working on the inside. I will also say that you're watching me collage the cover here, and I've put up another collage for my planner journal, but everything else regarding my planner journal lives on Patreon. And I know you guys hate when I bring up Patreon, but it is what it is. There are the entire series of this, of me working in my planner journal and the progress. I mean, it really has been a progress. Like it's something that I started right around when the pandemic hit, actually. I was working in a traveler's notebook format. And then in 2021, I switched to the hobonichi, the A6, and I just fell in love with it. And it has become my place where, and again, I call it a planner journal because everything lives in it. It's where my daily to-do lists are. It's where my work lists are. If I have notes for a video, notes on something, how I'm going to film it, voiceover notes, like literally I'm not reading actual notes, but I have like bullet points of things that I want to talk about in my current planner journal. It's in that. It's my to-do list. It's my everyday carry. It's where I put pictures of things. So I print out cute pictures of things that we go and do. I journal about them. I save junk. So like, receipts from things or scraps or wrapping paper or whatever it is. I save that stuff and I collage it together into personal spreads that are mashed in between the planner bits. So it truly is. When I say it's a planner journal, it is my planner journal. But I was really proud of myself in 2021. I literally filled both books. Like they are totally full. At the time that I was collaging this, I was still kind of wrapping up the second half of 2021, just going back in and doing my Christmas spreads and filling in some blank pages. But for the most part, I have completely filled I say filled in quotations. There's always going to be some blank pages in there, but I really, like, they are chunky. Like, when I hold the two together, holy moly, it is so much chunk. So I'm really proud of myself that I did that, and I am keeping with this format of the planner journal, specifically the A6. This size just works out really well for me. I was tempted to get into the bigger one because I know the next size up has that weekly overview, the weekly format, which is very tempting, but it's too much space. It's too much daily page space for me to fill up that I'm like, I can't deal. This little book is so easy to fill in blank pages or to just throw stuff in. And I find that I was able to fill it up. So it's like, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not going to mess with it. So keeping this format into the new year, this was the long-winded way of me saying that because it's so personal and I journal in it and have pictures and there's a lot of personal information that goes into it, that is why it lives on Patreon, because I just feel like it's secure over there. So there are entire, literally they're real-time, hour and a half long planner journal with me videos that are over there if that's something that you're interested in. Again, I know you guys hate when I bring up Patreon, but it's a huge part of what I do. So I'm just telling you where to find that content if you are looking for it. Speaking of some good news, I guess, because I know you guys don't like when I talk about Patreon or, direct you to content that lives over there, because that is where I have been producing so much content, which kind of leads me to what I've been up to, really. December was a wild month in a sense of I was dealing with the holidays and hosting the holiday, but I also I did Vlogmas this year, and I did Vlogmas over on Patreon because I didn't want to have to filter or edit anything for here on YouTube. I like documenting my personal life and having my kid in it. I like having, our son in the videos, and I don't want to put those publicly on the internet. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So that is why I decided this year I was going to do Vlogmas over on Patreon. So not only did I do Vlogmas pretty successfully over on Patreon, I also did my normal tons of art content over there. Just I always do more than what the minimum it says in my tiers. So I produced my regular amount of art videos. Then I did the Advent Reveal series here on YouTube, which I filmed all 16 of those videos ahead of time, edited them all, scheduled them all out, got it done. I would just I blew myself away basically with how much content I was able to produce here at the end of the year. And I've really been consistently kind of doing that, particularly on Patreon for a while. And it's gotten to a point now that because of how I saw how much that I was able to produce in December, it now has me thinking as I'm going into the new year, first of all, I'm embracing that role of I am a content creator. That is in my title. It is in my job description. Yes, I'm an artist, but I'm definitely a content creator. I create videos. I create content to be consumed. And when I realized how much I had created, I started to really think, can I up the volume of YouTube videos that I do? And the short answer is yes, because I clearly can produce a lot of content. And I think it's just a combination of me finding, I've gotten that balance because I am home with Roman. That's the other thing, is that I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom. My parents help me 2 days a week. But beyond that, I'm with Roman. So I work at very weird times of the day. I work super early in the morning. Literally at the time that I'm talking to you, it is 7 in the morning. I've already been up for an hour. Sometimes I'm filming videos at 5:30 in the morning. I film when he takes a nap. I film or I edit late at night. But it took me a while to settle into that. But now that I have, here I am, and I'm cranking out content like a crazy person. It's I've gotten used to that crazy life of if I have 10 minutes, I try to edit a little bit of a video. If I need to just film a chunk of something, I film a chunk of something. I'm popping in and out of my computer, editing things. I think that's the other big thing, is that I have set myself up for success. Try to say that 10 times fast. Not only in that I've adjusted to my schedule, but I have the proper setup and equipment. I have gotten an additional camera. I've figured out all of my mic things, my microphone things. I also upgraded and got myself a new computer that is strictly for editing, which is amazing. And it's so nice to have just one souped up computer that all it does is edit. I don't do anything else on it. I don't have anything else on it. And it's great. And it's enabled me to really dial up my video production. So that said, one of my big goals for the new year, and that's where I'm headed to with this video, is just kind of sharing some of my creative goals going into 2022, because I do like to set goals. I am someone who sets, I don't call them resolutions, but I always start the new year with a goal list of just things that I want to accomplish. And sometimes I do the things off the list. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes the list transforms into something else halfway through the year. Certainly the hobonichi helps with that, because when I go to switch into the second half of the year in July, maybe I'll do an updated goals list, or I'll take some of those items that were on the start of the year and move them over to another list. So it's a very flexible thing for me. It's not a hard and fast, I have to do these things this year. But I'm a big believer in goal setting. I like lists as well. Like, I just am a productive, functional person if I have lists of things. And I think making lists of your goals, even if they're not like hard and fast, is just a great way to manifest them. They're things that I'm currently into, things that I want to work on. So I think, writing things down is a great way to really manifest those things into life and bring them to focus and organize your thoughts together. Why not, right? So one of the things, my big things, is, can I do a YouTube video a week for the entire year? That is my goal. I actually, in my 2022, I'm still getting used to saying that. It feels so weird. One of the things in my 2022 hobonichi is that I have taken that section that's in the beginning. It's kind of like the month to month. It's past like the monthly overviews, where it just has the month header and then it's got kind of like columns on it. I used to use that as my list of where I would write my Patreon videos to ensure that I was hitting my minimums. But I always overproduce now to a point where I don't even need to make a checklist of my Patreon videos, because I always have so many going, so it doesn't matter. So I decided to use that as my place to kind of organize my YouTube video ideas and to ensure that I'm getting videos done. And I think the other thing too is that I've gotten really good. I'm giving myself a lot of props in this video, but I'm proud of myself, and I think that that's okay to be proud of yourself and toot your own horn. But I have gotten so good about always having a bunch of videos going at one time. And this is something I'll probably talk about in a future YouTube video at some point, is, how I bulk film videos. I literally film, I usually have, I'm trying to see, it's hard because I have Final Cut up right now, but I was trying to see how many videos I currently have filming at this moment. I have 4 videos that are in progress that I'm slowly chipping away at. And then I always have a minimum of 5 videos that need to be edited at any given time. And that is how I've managed to really overproduce and get things done, especially stuff like the Advent Reveal series, where I'm doing 16 videos all in one go. It's a lot. So I've gotten into just such a good system, and I thought, I want to take that and apply it to YouTube. So working on planning out videos ahead of time, filming and editing in advance. There's really no excuse for me to film 4 videos. That's very doable in my world. Edit them, get them done, and schedule them to YouTube to publish over the course of a month. It's not that bad. And so I just keep telling myself I need to just reframe my thought as, working on those videos in advance, coming up with those lists, planning, bulk filming them, and getting them scheduled and up on YouTube. I also think it helps too that I have so many things that I work on at any given time, whether that be sketchbooks, even things like this where it's my planner journal cover. I feel comfortable sharing this on YouTube because it's not super personal. It's okay. Studio vlogs, I'm hoping to kind of revamp those. I also have a lot of ideas for series in my mind and I think I was inspired after doing the Advent Reveal series. I really liked that was a season of videos. I'm trying to approach my YouTube channel almost like a TV channel. Like really, like I'm thinking about it like it's TV. Yes, you're going to have these one-off videos like this. There's going to be a lot of this, of just overhead me talking about something, or a real time I'm working on something and I'm talking you through it, or whatever it is, or it's a vlog, or I'm sharing something. But I love this idea of a season of a particular type of video. And the Advent was really what that was. And I want to do more of that. For example, I have this idea in my mind, and I didn't think I was going to talk about all this, but we're going there. I have this idea in my mind of, I've never really done an art journal flip through tour. I have, I think, a really old one on Patreon when I first started Patreon, but I've never really done like a full flip of my art journals. And it's because I feel like there's a lot to say about them. And I'm talking about like my altered book journals here, like my more in-depth art making, the stuff that people love when I do, and I don't always do it all the time because it's so labor intensive and takes me forever. But I have these piles of art journals that, yes, I've posted pictures of, or maybe I've made stickers out of, but I've never really talked about them. And that's been a long running thing with my work, is that I share it and I kind of leave it to your own interpretation. I think that that's kind of what's interesting, especially because sometimes my work can be seen as offensive or weird or scary or creepy. And sometimes I like leaving it open to interpretation. The other thing too with the art journals is that oftentimes, because it is my serious mode of art making, it's how I'm working out things, like emotional things that I'm dealing with, things in my life that I'm dealing with. I'm working things out, or I'm dealing with kind of it's got a weird backstory or a weird personal story or whatever it is. So I'm very, very close to it. When that artwork is done, I'm incredibly close to it. And so I never really felt, I don't know if I felt comfortable, but I never really felt the need to share the backstory on them, what the spreads were about. So now I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think it's been a while since I've made a lot of these spreads. Like a lot of these spreads are years old. And so it's got me rethinking, like, how can I share these journal spreads without just doing like a talk through flip? Because if I did an actual like flip through of my art journal, it would be 1,000 years long. It would be so long. The other thing too is that I work super out of order. It would be really weird to do a flip through of one of my altered books, because you would see one journal spread that maybe has been done within the last year, and then you would see another journal spread that maybe was done 5 years ago. So it doesn't really represent like, it's not like a sketchbook. Like my sketchbooks, when I flip my sketchbooks, you're getting like a real look of a short period of time, even if it's over the course of a year, of me doing those things. So it captures my current style, things that I'm into, materials that I'm working with a lot, your creative trends. My art journals it's more difficult to convey that, because page to page, it's so vastly different. And each spread is really its own work of art, in my opinion. I really don't look at those books as here's the completed cohesive book. It's really on an individual spread, page by page level. So it has me thinking, how can I tour these? Because some of them are so old, I actually feel like I'm ready to talk about them. Like I'm far enough away from the work now that I'm ready to share that information. So, I've had this idea of, for a series where I literally just talk about one spread. I share one spread and then I give you the backstory on that. And I try to film it really interesting and have different, camera views, and really tell the stories of these journal spreads that have never been told before. And in my mind, I would love to like bulk film a bunch of them. Like I film 15, 10 episodes, whatever, and release it as, okay, here's season 1 of By Bun Journal Stories. And every week there's a new episode. And then once it's done, I move on to another batch of videos or another video series. And then it's, okay, now it's season 1 of this. And then maybe later I do another batch of Art Journal Stories episodes. It's now season 2, whatever it is. I just was really inspired by that Advent Reveal series, and just, again, amazed with myself that I was able to make that many videos in one go. So it's just got me really rethinking how I look at my YouTube channel And the other thing too is that I'm in a place now where I want to make the content that I am going to make, because at the end of the day, when you are a content creator, if you are just making stuff that people want to see for numbers or views or whatever, that just feels like a grind, it's going to be a grind. Like, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. Like, filming as it is already can be very stressful, and certainly editing. I know a lot of people hate editing. I actually enjoy editing if it's something that I want to do. If it's a video that genuinely interests me, or I'm working on something that is interesting, then I get excited about editing it. The Advent series, again, I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing it up yet again. I was really excited to edit those videos because it was just something different, and I was playing around with the format. I was filming a little bit differently, and I think I now have the proper gear and equipment to film videos the way that I want to, in a different way, so that I'm not just doing all overhead videos like this. I want to challenge myself to just up my production a little bit and see what other kind of videos that I can do, play around with the format, have multiple cameras going at once, playing with, my color corrections, my transitions, my graphics. And that's the kind of stuff that's really fun to me and really like revitalizes my love for editing and video production, because it is something that I like to do. And when I'm coming up with different creative things that I want to work on, I almost always am thinking about how I can pair a video with it. There's always a companion video piece in my mind of what that video might look like, what it's going to sound like, what kind of music I would put to it. So I really want to follow that creative drive. That is one of my big goals for 2022, is make the content that I want to make, and challenge myself to really change the format, get back to making new videos that are exciting for me to make. And at the end of the day, content that I want to make. I wanted to make a dice video. You guys have already seen that. That was up last week. Again, this is part of my YouTube video a week. You didn't realize it, but I put one up last week. Here is your second week video. Already have 2 more that I'm working on. So I really am trying to chase that weekly YouTube video goal. I am on a mission. But I really just want to get back to making things that I want to do. I made that dice video. I don't care if it does well. I know that I'm mainly an art channel, but it's like, I like D&D dice. I like organizing my dice. It was something that I wanted to do. It was easy to film, so I did it. Why not? And that's the attitude that I'm really going to embrace, especially with my YouTube content, is like, I just want to have fun. I want to have fun with it and be in that place. And I think that that's also just my general approach for the new year on a whole, is like, I want to create things that I'm excited to create. I want to follow my creative bliss of just doing projects that excite me. I've had this crazy idea of doing a dollhouse. I don't know why. There is just something in my mind to build a dollhouse and make my own creepy, weird ass dollhouse in my studio. And I want to film it and just call it the Dollhouse Diaries. And you watch my crazy journey of putting together a dollhouse, selfishly, even just for myself, because it just sounds like really fun. It's kind of silly. It's not like anything else that I do, but it like creatively makes me happy. Like, I literally have maybe you can even hear it. I have a smile on my face when I think about this damn dollhouse, and I don't know why. It's like it's so silly, but it makes me so excited. And you know what? One day I might pull the trigger on it and just do it. And maybe I think 2022 is the year to do it, because I'm just, again, I want to follow my creative bliss and do the things that I am excited to do. I think the Advent itself, the actual Advent with the stickers in it, was a little bit of that too. It was a crazy idea that just made me happy, and I decided to just go for it, even though it was a ton of work. And oh my God, it was so much work putting those Advents together. But the payoff was so worth it, because seeing your guys' responses to the physical Advent calendars and seeing you use your stickers and the reviews on Etsy that you guys have been leaving for me, like your response to it has just blown me away. I was so nervous to put that out because it was such a different product, unlike anything that I had done. And it was like a mystery too. Like, no one had seen that artwork, those stickers. That is terrifying as an artist, to design products of artwork that people had never seen before. So I had no gauge. On how people were going to respond to that. But on a whole, it was a smash success. I mean, like, They sold out rapid fire, but the biggest thing for me, it's not just about the sellout. I mean, obviously it's nice because it was a huge financial investment on my end as a business, buying all that stuff, and my time, especially the time it took for me to design the packaging on that and do that all together. But the biggest payoff for me was seeing the reactions, getting the messages from people being like, oh my God, the day 6 sticker was bonkers. That was amazing. Oh my God, the finale was so good. Even just being able to produce those videos and putting the videos out for those of you who maybe couldn't get the advent or didn't want to buy it or whatever, just wanted to like experience the unenveloping of it. It was really fun. And I enjoyed being able to share a little bit of the backstory of each sticker as well. So I feel like that was a lot of me just following my creative bliss. I feel like that's how I have to title this video, is like 2022 goals and creative bliss while collaging my old hobonichi. That's probably what I'm going to title this video. But I want to do more of that in 2022. It's just do things that I think is really fun. I also have a crazy idea of doing a coloring book. I've wanted to do a Bye Bun coloring book for years, but I haven't figured out how I was going to do it. And I might have cracked the code on how I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be really labor intensive, but that's something else that I think could be really fun to work on and do. I'm revealing all my secrets here. Oh my gosh, all of my secrets are coming out. P.S. What I'm doing now on my cover, you've seen me collage this during this whole video that I've just been rambling, but that's okay. This is like podcast style voiceover, which is not a bad thing. This damn star, which, speaking of the Advent, those stars came out of the Advent packaging. I saved some of them. What I'm doing now is putting some packing tape over the top of them. You probably have seen me do this in my first cover collage video that I did. I really like doing this as a way of just protecting the collage, and it feels very satisfying as well once it's on there to have that like plastic kind of coating on top of it. But you'll notice that I don't put it over the actual spine. So I kind of just do it on the front and back, avoiding the spine. And then what I do when I'm finally done, I go back and I add a piece that covers over the spine. And in 2021, I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but now that I've actually done it, I can report it does work and it's very handy. And this is a good way to approach kind of sealing your covers in if that's something that you want to do. Something else I did with this cover too is I didn't go overboard with the collage materials. If you've seen that other video, and I'll put it in the link down below, I went crazy town with how much stuff was on the cover. I was putting tiny stickers in. I think I even put paint pen on it and tons of washi tape and little stickers and like a doily and my stickers and back. Like, it was just too much stuff. So in this go around, I decided to pull back a little bit and minimize how much stuff was going on the cover. I also found myself I'm collaging obviously, but curating it a little bit more from a color perspective. I was trying to pull more reds and pinks and kind of like pops of white with like the ghosts. I feel like in general, I kind of have like a ghost theme happening, which I found kind of made it easier to pick out the materials and get it all on there. It also helped that I had the pouch. I had my little planner journal pouch, which is a really good system for me. And it's a great way to kind of put those pieces aside that I know I want to use, and then actually use them up, which is really nice. So here's kind of that overview look. I love the giant red dice on the front. I mean, like, I know I'm coming off of a dice tour video as well, but I love those big chunky red dice, and my own little mini ghost stickers. And I got some little Animal Crossing Coco. Love me some Coco in the cover, which I think is just really fun. But anywho, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Very rambly, I know, but just wanted to share my mindset going into the new year. I'd love to hear what some of your creative goals are for 2022. Let's hear them. Leave them in the comments. What are you excited to create? What are you excited to work on? I'm excited to make more videos for you guys here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.